Good morning. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard the story of Jesus talking with the woman at the well in John chapter 4. This woman is not just, any woman, but possibly a woman of ill repute, because she is coming to draw water at midday when no one else is going to be at the well, even though that is the hottest time of the day. No one else will be there to draw water, so she goes there without prying eyes. But this is not just a woman of ill repute. This is, in John chapter 4, a Samaritan woman. The animosity between Jews and Samaritans go back generations. In fact, this woman points out in verses 7 through 9 that Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Look there in John chapter 4 in the verses 7. He says, a woman of Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." For his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. And the Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you," look at how she says this, "how is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" Because even John says, for Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. In fact, for the Jews, Samaritans are lower than a snake's belly in a mud pit. So why there? Why did Jesus choose to travel through Samaria and deal with these Samaritan people? Isn't there plenty of work to do there in Jerusalem? Isn't there enough people there in Galilee to go and speak to those people? Why go to Samaria and deal with those people, especially those outside of the so-called Jewish faith? Jesus says later on in chapter 4, start reading the verses 34. He says, Jesus says to his disciples, he says, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to accomplish his work. Do you not say there are yet 4 months and then comes the harvest? Look, I tell you, lift up your eyes and see that the fields are white for harvest. Already the one who reaps is receiving the wages and gathering fruit for eternal life, so that sower and reaper may rejoice together." This is true in Jesus' time, and it is certainly true today. People all around the world are ready for the gospel. I want to tell you just a few things that have happened in just the last 3 weeks. Not 3 months, not 3 years, the last 3 weeks this has happened. Number one, in Nigeria, we have had over 165 baptisms just from one state of Nigeria. 165 baptisms in the last 3 weeks. In Malawi, we are getting ready to launch a full-time preacher school in northern Malawi because the brethren there in that area of the world are hungry for Bible and ministry training. Just in Tanzania this week, we had a team visit a Maasai man who has been listening to the gospel on the radio being preached. And now he is ready for him and his family to hear more about a Bible study so that he and his family can convert to New Testament Christianity. All of these things happened in just the last 3 weeks in Africa. And these are just the things that I know about. I'm sure there are many other things going on throughout Africa and the world where the fields are surely ripe for harvest. Jesus also says in the book of Luke, chapter 10, and verses 2, he says, "The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Paul also says in Romans chapter 10 and verses 14, he says, "How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?" You see, the Lord is calling men and women to go and to preach and to teach. Matthew 28, verses 18 through 20. The church is yearning for additional missionaries to go into all the world. Mark chapter 16 and the verses 15. When the gospel call for missionaries is ringing out, who is willing to answer like Isaiah did in Isaiah 6 and the verses 8? "Here am I, send me." The current world population is right now 8.1 billion people. Half of the people living right now, half, live in India, China, and Asia. It's a phenomenal number of people alive today. God is asking, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Whom today will answer the call to become a missionary and take the gospel to wherever they may go? Thank you very much. If my speech today inspires one person in this audience today to become a missionary, then my job is a success. Thank you very much.